Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report for Friday, February 10th, 2023. Yes, the weekend is here. Yes, it's Super Bowl weekend, and yes, we're going across the border with our good friend and colleague, Andrew McInnis. Busy day for everyone this week, and we're blessed and honored to have Andrew here for a short time, but a good time. Half hour with him at 2:30. Tyler Wyatt will be making his debut here. We'll be talking some Super Bowl, some SEC. I have a question. How far will the Vols go? And then at 3:30, Zaid Hussein talking some UFC and much more. So without further ado, let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis.
Hello, Jeff. It's Friday, but I'll tell you what, it does not feel like a Friday. It's a very busy day, and it sounds like you're even busier, man. Good to be here.
It's great to be here. I'm trained now in the brain to say, hey, we might only currently be doing one show, but I know I'll be talking to you at least twice a week. So we've had extensive, probably about 3 hours or 2.5 hours of communication. And now we're here, short board in the NHL, but tomorrow it's this long. I guess there's a Super Bowl, I don't know, Sunday at 6:30. Props galore. We had Bill Krakenberg on live from Foxwoods yesterday on his way to Plain Ridge, on his way to Encore to hit the prop market. So how are you doing, Andrew?
I'm excited. I'm trying to pick through it. I mean, it's kind of like what you used to tell me, the strainer, right? You got to throw in the ones you like, pick through the ones you don't like as much, and manage things. And also, I never used to be this kind of sports bettor, Jeff, but I've definitely graduated to the level of, oh man, that under, it was 67, but now it's 63. I don't know if I can play it, and that's kind of, it's frustrating because you waited so long to get down on certain things, and whether it's an over, then you got chalky plays. So I'm at the point now where I'm definitely locked in on a few, but it's at that point of kind of just, ciphering through the ones I like, which ones I want to add in, and try not to get too carried away, because when it comes down to it, it is another game. It's one game. It obviously is a big game, but you don't want to take away any of the profits you've earned and worked hard all year long to deserve. I mean, is it bad that I'm kind of ready for Monday? Is that bad? I mean, I'm a hockey guy at heart. I'm tired of looking at stats, tired of hearing. And also, Jeff, honestly, man, I know you're a sports fan as well. I'm looking forward to just watching the game. I mean, betting aside, it's going to be a great game, but I've got a few fun ones, and I've got a few DraftKings ones that I thought you might be interested in if you wanted to go over them as well, kind of like some novelty props. But there's all kinds of things if you wanted to start with the NFL and then go into NHL.
It's so funny you used the term the big game. I got a text the other day from a good friend, someone that is that wagers a lot, that has fun with it, and has had some nice little scores, a daily grinder like everyone else. He goes, what are you thinking in the big game? And I did question mark. I'm like, big game? And he goes, yeah, the Super Bowl. He goes, I think it's a pretty big game for you in your daily routine and your business. And I said to him right away, every game is a big game to us. Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that, because yes, it is the Super Bowl, and there's no bigger game. Everyone crawling out of the woodwork. Hey, Andrew, can you get down on this for me? I don't have a book here. Here's two. And I'm just like, if it was the Super Bowl or the 3 games leading up to the Super Bowl and we went 3-0 and we lost on the Super Bowl, for the day we'd grade it 3-1 plus 1.9 units, and we'd move on to Monday, like you said.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's so much that they're offering. everybody is so excited to say, "Wow, I can't believe they have this prop up. I can't believe this is there. Wow, I really think we're going to see Rihanna show cleavage." I mean, let's be honest here. There's so many different props you can look at. The books are ready. They're sharp as a tack. They're ready to go. You know where you can make money? Well, you can make money when the Texans are playing the Commanders. You can make money when the Colts are playing, a crappy team. You don't have to just do it on the big game. But obviously, there's all kinds of different things you can look at in this one. My biggest thing is picking your spots when to look at. I'm feeling a sneeze coming on. It's gonna come here any second now. Picking your spots when to bet on the big players, right? Like Travis Kelce of the world. You've got the Devontae Smith of the world. Everyone. I mean, have you heard anybody that likes Miles Sanders under? I haven't heard anything, but I feel like that's one popular bet that I can get down on. I do think he'll be able to get over his number. But even over on rushing yards for Sanders, I would prefer to look towards his rushing attempts. With the attempts, you don't have to worry. I mean, you might get stuffed and only get 1 or 2 yards on a couple of them, but they'll continue to go back to him. I feel like it's going to be a big dink and dunk game for both teams, Jeff. I'll tell you what, flat out, I like the under 51. I think everybody wants to see a shootout. That's the projection for both clubs. Not many people know that. I mean, first of all, you can get over 4.5 sacks or 3.5 sacks in this game. Kansas City was number 2. Eagles are number 1 in the entire league for sacks. The secondaries aren't too bad for both these clubs. I know the big saying right now is that who have the Eagles defeated? Who have they beaten? That's the big talk, right? But you know what? They still have a good defense. So whether or not their offense is going to put up 30 points or not, their defense can still hang around in there. So I feel like it's going to be a big run game. I think Kenneth Gainwell over receiving yards at 11.5 is a really good prop to make. He's most certainly the most pass catching back that they have. He's the one that gathers the most passes out of all the running backs. He's not really going to get the ball on the ground much, but when they're dumping it off to somebody in the backfield, I think it will be him. He had, I think it was a 30-yard receiving yards last game, and obviously that was a game that was pretty much over before it started. So there's lots of different things to look at. I mean, look at Devontae Smith over 4.5 receptions. That's one chalky play I can get down on. It's minus 150, but he's only missed this twice since week 10. One of them was against the Packers where he still had 9 targets. And the other one, Jeff, was last week in that game that was, again, over before it pretty much started. So, and as far as the Kansas City Chiefs, look, I think we're going to see Pacheco have a big game. But I think that they're a team that you want to look towards for some of the guys that are down the list a little bit. I mean, like Juju, like Valdez Scantling, you can get some really good numbers on some of those guys, not only to get over the receptions, but to get a longest reception and their yards and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to diversify my portfolio with this. I do have a lot of team bets, with over field goals made. I think that we'll see the Kansas City Chiefs get over 1.5 field goals. I think we'll see an interception from the Eagles. So I think Patty Mahomes does throw one. There's lots to look at. Like I said, I'm trying to narrow down my props, but as you can tell, I've got lots up here in my head and lots I'm ready to fire on, and some that I really, really do like. But I think a sneaky play, it'll probably be my best bet on the show here for NFL this weekend, would be Kenneth Gainwell over on his receiving yards. It's 11.5, Jeff. It's a low number, but I think that he's a guy that consistently all year long has been the back that's actually catching passes, not running on the ground as much, and they'll have to utilize him.
For all the new listeners, for everyone just jumping in because it's Super Bowl weekend, for all your followers from Wager Talk and McGinnis Picks, you talk about this lengthy prop list. I think last Thursday, Westgate probably released 400. There were people waiting in line for hours to get their 3 plays in to go back to the line. Can you explain to people, or I'll ask you the real question here, unit sizing. So in other words, if you had 2 or 3 sides on the game, whatever they were, you might the way you do it, you might have 1% here, 2% here, and maybe a 4% here. And then you might have 10, 15, 20 parts, whatever it is. Is that just 10 here, 20 here, or is there certain sizing that you suggest or you will be utilizing for yourself and all your clients as well?
Well, I think to me, it a lot of it has to do with a lot of how you're going to bet the Super Bowl, and whether it's prop side totals, whatever it might be, is and you're managing your bankroll, Jeff. I think a lot of that is indicative to how your season went. So you don't want to just start this off this weekend. For me, um, I've been a lot, a lot smaller. I was pretty low volume with my side. So let's say I'd have a 3 or 4% side play, and then I'd have 1 or 2% prop plays. But here's the thing: this game is as sharp as it's going to be. You've got two great teams. These are the teams that everybody wanted to see go head to head, pretty much. Chiefs, Eagles. A game that could very well be well defensive, a lot of great defensive play, or it could soar over the number. This is a game that I don't really think, as someone that advocates for prop betting, I don't think that anybody should be looked down upon if their best bet and their most money they've put on this game is a prop. We're done from that world. Like, it's, if you really think that Travis Kelce's going to get a touchdown, why should somebody tell you, wow, would you actually really bet a favorite to get a touchdown? Well, yeah, the guy's pretty much gets a touchdown every single time he suits up. So, but as far as bankroll management, I think that the biggest indicator is how you've been doing it before. If you're new to betting, I would say manage your bankroll as in how many plays you're making. If you want to be a high volume guy and have a really fun time, make sure those units are really small. And if you have a really good day, you do. If not, you're not losing too much. But if you have like 2 or 3 you like, I have no problem with people treating them like a side play or a total. And I'm sure you would agree. I mean, when we first met, and as far as talking about doing CFL together, you said the exact same thing to me as far as every ticket cash is the same. And, I try to convince people every summer to get down with me on the CFL. And it's not because I want them to buy my plays as much as I want them to realize that there's money to be made there. And I wouldn't be telling people to get down on these props or on CFL with me or on NHL or on the World Juniors if we weren't making money. It's not a joke as far as that stuff is concerned. And pretty much anything you and I have discussed here, we've been trying to make some money with. So I think as far as the prop market's concerned, you got to be able to be calculated and don't just go ahead and take the most obvious pick all the time. But Jeff, I'd have no problem in summary if somebody's best bet this weekend is a prop. No problem at all.
So like we do when it comes to the golf game, and it's not just the majors. We're going to really get our golf game ramped up after this weekend and the Super Bowl's over. I suggest to our clients to set aside 2 to 3 units for anyone that wants to invest and wager on a golf tournament. We try to make everyone the same, whether it's, Rory McIlroy at 10-1 will cash the same way as Andrew McInnis at 100-1. You know what I mean? So
right. Okay, I see.
So in other words, if you put $100 at Rory at 10-1, well, you're at 100-1. I'm just going to put $10 on you. So if one of the two wins, you're going to cash it for $1,000. So you set aside 2 to 3 units that way. My question to you is, you talked about playing all season. Now, this is the finale. This is it, the last game of the year. Do you set aside personally 3, 4, 5 units, or does the board dictate to you how many units that you'll actually have on the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the board will talk to me. I mean, it's I can definitely say from experience, and I think that every handicapper would be lying to you if they didn't tell you they've loaded up before on this game. And of course, people are interested, and part of our job is to get people to buy our packages and be interested. But part of my job is to also, at the end of each year, whenever a season is done, is for me to tweet out how I did in props, how I did totals and sides and things like that. And I don't want to look back and say, man, there's one game in there, the last game of the year, the Super Bowl is what screwed me this year. I don't want that to happen. So I think that for sure, allocate your bankroll, but make sure you're investing wisely. And then here's an example of what you just said there. So for me, if I'm betting on Travis Kelce to get a touchdown, I'm betting more money on that, Jeff, than I'm betting on if I'm taking Valdez-Scantling to get a touchdown. So even though it's 2 touchdown props, and some people are kind of flat bettors and they just bet 1 unit a piece, if I'm getting a plus 280 on a touchdown score, I don't feel as if I have to bet as much as I did on a guy that minus 115.
100%. We had 2 Sundays ago, we had Kadarius Toney anytime touchdown. I'm sorry, first touchdown of the game plus 1900, and then we had anytime touchdown at plus 300. Now I don't expect people to run to the window and bet one full unit on the plus 1900 and also one full unit on the plus 300 on the anytime. There again, where you could just do some basic math and say, okay, well, I could put $20 on the plus 1900 and get back 380 if he was the guy, and he almost was. He should have been the first guy to score a touchdown, and then he was plus 300 here. I'll put $50 on that, and if he does score, it'd be plus 150.
Right, and when you, I know you're not a huge prop guy as much, Jeff, but when you're doing stuff like that, or in your opinion, what do you think about people that load up? If you like a guy to have a good night, receptions, longest reception, yards, touchdown, are you a fan of people that do that, or do you think it's better to mix things around?
Yeah, that all in, and if you're right, you're a hero. Like for instance, 2 Sundays ago, I mean, Kansas City was dropping like flies. So as soon as Kadarius Toney drops that touchdown, which would have made us a hero that day, the next possession he's out for the game. So when you push all in, for me, I've had the most success in sprinkling the infield. I like to say, I like to have, listen, if you like Travis Kelce and you think he's going to be the guy, I don't have a problem. Okay, if I'm going to play 3 to 5 units here, I'm going to make sure I'm top heavy on Kelce. But just in case, we had Ron on from LA on Tuesday this week. He talked about Kansas City playing a lot of 2, 3, and 4 tight end sets. He talked about Jonas Gray there. His receptions over 1.5. His receiving yards over 12.5. His anytime touchdown 800. Now, there's still other tight ends that could be, but I don't have a problem with it if that's your forte. But if you're coming in here cold saying there's no way Kelce doesn't score a touchdown, I'm all in. Well, God bless you.
And, that's the thing is certain people are going to load up and they're going to think that one guy is going to be the saving grace. What if every other guy on that team does really well besides your guy? How foolish will you feel?
Mm-hmm. You're 100% correct. You just, look at the Philadelphia backfield. Look at the Chiefs backfield. Look at the fact here that is it going to be Pacheco? Is it going to be Jerick McKinnon? Is it going to be CEH? Could it be Ronald Jones? Go over to Philadelphia. Well, we know Sanders. Well, there's also Gainwell. There's also Scott. Dan, your colleague, came in here a few weeks ago against the Giants and said, this guy owns the Giants. We had him plus 380 to score an anytime touchdown. So you are spot on what you say. And I agree 100% with you.
I'm looking forward to a great weekend. And as far as NHL action, I think it's a good night as well. I like the over in the Kraken and Rangers game tonight. Looking at the Blackhawks as much as I hate to do it, I think the Penguins have a great night tonight, Jeff.
All right. Best of luck. And we'll be in touch soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank you.